Johnny Depp has made a name for himself in Hollywood, but it's not just because of his immense talent or his famous roles, it's because of the way he tells stories. If you think about it, Johnny Depp isn't just playing characters on screen. He's creating whole worlds. He's using his imagination to craft complex, colorful characters that we can't help but get lost in. There's something magical about the way Depp does it. And if you've ever sat back and thought, how does he do that? How does he make each character feel so real, so alive? Trust me, you're not the only one. Well, today, we're going to dive deep into how Johnny Depp harnesses the power of storytelling and imagination to create characters that stay with us long after the credits roll. Let's start by talking about one of the first things that makes Depp's storytelling so unique, his love for the weird. Now, when I say weird, I'm not talking about odd for the sake of odd. I'm talking about how Depp fully embraces the strange, the unusual, the things that most people might consider too out there. The beauty of Depp's roles is that he doesn't shy away from being different. He doesn't play it safe. And that's exactly why his characters stand out. You know what I mean? Think about Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, or even Edward Scissorhands. These are characters that are anything but ordinary. And Depp's genius lies in the fact that he embraces the weirdness and makes it work. It's like he takes these eccentric characters, breathes life into them, and turns them into something truly special. Take Captain Jack Sparrow, for instance. Who could forget the first time we saw him on screen? He was wild, unpredictable, funny, and unlike anything we had ever seen before. But here's the secret, Johnny Depp didn't just slap on a pirate costume and say, "All right, here's your pirate character." No, Depp took it a step further. He brought Jack to life in a way that made him instantly iconic. He didn't just play a pirate, he played a pirate who had his own set of rules, a pirate with heart, and a pirate who was always thinking 2 steps ahead. Depp didn't shy away from Jack's quirks or his unpredictability. Instead, he embraced them and made them a key part of who Jack was. That's the magic of Depp's storytelling, he goes beyond the surface and really dives into what makes his characters tick. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Depp doesn't just rely on the costume or the script. He transforms into the character. He doesn't just act, he becomes the character. When Depp takes on a role, he's not just memorizing lines and following directions. He's getting into the heart of that character. He's thinking about what makes them tick. What's driving them? What do they feel, fear, or long for? He's digging deep into the character's psyche. And that's why even the strangest characters he plays feel so real. Whether it's a pirate, a man with scissor hands, or a Mad Hatter, Depp is always searching for the humanity underneath. He's always looking for what connects that character to us, the audience. Let's pause for a moment and think about one of Depp's most iconic roles, the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland. Now, if you really think about it, the Mad Hatter is weird. He's eccentric. He's unpredictable. He's a little bit crazy, right? But Depp doesn't play him as just a man in a wild hat who says bizarre things. He plays him as someone who's been through something, someone who has depth, even though it might not be immediately obvious. Depp takes the madness of the Hatter and makes it feel real. You can see the sadness, the joy, and the conflict in the character. Depp shows us that even in the most eccentric roles, there's room for emotional depth. And that's something that a lot of actors miss. The ability to take something strange and still make it relatable. But Depp? He's a master at it. Now, let's talk about one of the things that really sets Depp apart, his ability to improvise. A lot of actors stick to the script, line for line, word for word. But Depp? He adds his own flavor to every role. He improvises. He lets the character take over. He's not afraid to go off book and see where the character leads him. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why his performances feel so fresh and real. It's like he's in the moment, letting the character guide him rather than being constrained by what's written down. You can see it in Pirates of the Caribbean when Jack Sparrow does something completely unexpected, like stumbling into a fight or offering his quirky wisdom. Those moments weren't always in the script. They came from Depp's own genius and his deep connection to the character. But here's the thing. No matter how much Depp improvises, he always makes sure his characters stay true to the story. Even though he's adding his own personal touches, Depp never loses sight of the bigger picture. Every character he plays serves a larger purpose within the narrative. They might be odd, they might be eccentric, but they always fit within the context of the story. That's something a lot of actors don't always manage to pull off. But Depp? He makes sure that no matter how wild or quirky a character is, they still fit into the world of the movie. There's always a reason for them to be there, and they always make sense within the larger narrative. Now, let me ask you, have you ever thought Depp's characters are a little too over the top to be relatable? I mean, we've all seen Captain Jack Sparrow doing his thing, and it's easy to think, no one's really like that. But here's the twist, Depp's characters are deeply human. Even the weirdest, most eccentric ones have emotions, desires, and struggles. Even the Mad Hatter, who seems totally out there, has a real emotional core. Depp's genius lies in his ability to make us see the humanity in these characters, no matter how strange they seem on the surface. He shows us that no matter how wild or unpredictable someone might appear, they still have a story to tell, a story that we can relate to. So, how can you tap into the same creative power that Depp has? Well, the first thing you need to do is embrace the weird. We all have that part of us that wants to play it safe, that wants to stay in the comfort zone. But Depp teaches us that the weird stuff? That's where the magic happens. If you're trying to create something new, something fresh, you can't be afraid to think outside the box. In fact, you should want to think outside the box. So, the next time you're hit with a creative roadblock, ask yourself, what would you create if there were no rules? What if you just let your imagination run wild, without worrying about how it would be received? Trust me, some of the best ideas come when you stop playing it safe and just embrace the weird. Second, find the heart of your character, or your idea. Depp doesn't just go for the surface level. He digs deep. He thinks about what makes his character tick. What motivates them? What do they want, and why? This is something every creator should do. Whether you're writing a script, creating a piece of art, or just brainstorming an idea, make sure you're asking yourself what's at the heart of it. What's driving the story? What's driving the character? By digging into the emotional core of your creation, you'll make it stronger, deeper, and more relatable. The heart is where the magic lies. And third, don't be afraid to improvise. Sometimes the best ideas come when you least expect them. When you're creating, give yourself permission to go off the rails. Don't stick so closely to the plan that you stifle your own creativity. Depp is a master of improvisation, and it's one of the things that makes his performances feel fresh and real. So, the next time you're working on a project, give yourself the freedom to improvise. Let the character or the idea take you to places you never thought you'd go. Some of the best moments come when you least expect them. Now that we've talked about how you can use some of Depp's techniques in your own creative work, let's talk about a few pro tips that can help you unlock your own creative genius. First off, let your imagination run wild. Don't limit yourself by thinking about what's normal or acceptable. Embrace the weird. Push yourself to think in new, creative ways. Allow yourself to be strange, to be different, and to think outside the box. Some of the greatest creative works in history have come from people who weren't afraid to be different. So, don't be afraid to push the limits of your own imagination. Second, always find the emotional core of your creation. Depp doesn't just play characters, he brings them to life by digging deep into their emotions and motivations. So, whatever you're working on, whether it's a script, a piece of art, or an idea, make sure you're always asking yourself what drives it. What makes it real? What's at the heart of it? Don't just scratch the surface, dig deeper. And lastly, don't be afraid to take risks. Depp's career is built on the fact that he's not afraid to take risks. He plays characters that other actors might shy away from. He takes roles that are unconventional, quirky, and downright strange. And guess what? It paid off. So, whatever you're working on, don't be afraid to take that leap. Sometimes, the best rewards come from stepping outside your comfort zone and taking risks. So, let's wrap this up. Johnny Depp's storytelling is all about embracing your imagination, finding the heart of your character, and not being afraid to take risks. Whether it's Jack Sparrow or Edward Scissorhands, Depp's characters are memorable because he lets his creativity flow freely, and he stays true to the heart of the story. So, if you want to unlock your own creative potential, remember to embrace the weird, dig deep into your character's emotional core, and take risks. That's the secret to great storytelling. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Johnny Depp character, and why? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on more creative insights. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep dreaming big, and let your imagination take you to places you've never been.